Welcome to the Career Refresh Podcast. I'm your host, Jill Griffin. I'm a former media and marketing executive turned career strategist and executive coach. I spent my career working my way up and through the ranks of global organizations and startups, and today I show others how to do the same. Join me each week as we discuss the strategies and actionable steps to leverage your strengths, increase your confidence, and develop your career well-being. Ready? Let's do it. Hey friends, welcome to this week's episode. This week, I want to talk about the myth of busyness. And while it may seem obvious to some of you, it wasn't always obvious to me. And I spent many years in the busyness trap. So many of us are masters at being busy, and we tell others how busy we are. I'm so busy. I don't know how I'm going to get this all done. I'm so busy. Oh my God, I have so much to do today. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'd love to meet up with you, but finding a date is going to be so hard. I'm so busy. A very smart woman taught me years ago that you have time for what you prioritize. So I'll ask you, are you prioritizing your endless to-do list, or are you prioritizing the experiences and results that you want to create in your career? There's a huge difference between being busy and being productive. And many of us are drawn towards busyness because we have equated our value with doing, with being active. And the more we do, the more valuable we are. And I see busyness stem from two thoughts. It either comes from we think being busy increases our worthiness, so we feel better about ourselves, or we think that busyness makes us feel and look important to others, and therefore we can try to control what other people think of us. Both busyness thoughts deliver stress and ineffective results. Looking at the first kind of busy, the one where our self-worth and our value is tied to our ability to show others that we're being busy, this is the one that I see most common as we start out in our careers. I used to say yes to everything. Seriously. I think people knew that I was almost incapable of saying no, which was all fear-based. Fear that I wouldn't get ahead or I wouldn't be successful, I wouldn't get noticed, I'd be passed over. Fear that if I said no, I wouldn't be in the no. I would miss out on the opportunity to make connections, build relationships and alliances, and I wouldn't know the information that I need to do in order to do my job. I worked in agencies, media companies, and health tech startups. My remit was often strategy, innovation, content, emerging technologies, and connecting with others to call and shape thought leadership was a huge part of my job. So if I said no to a project or a task, and then I didn't know, how would that impact my output? And because my brain loves to go global quickly, I would then be thinking that if I didn't volunteer, how would this impact knowledge, but also my future, a promotion, a raise, or my overall professional reputation? I said yes so often because I believed that it gave me more exposure and experience. And the jury's still out on that one, meaning would I have gotten to the same level of success if I didn't do more, if I didn't volunteer? While we'll never know, I'm guessing that based on my competency, resourcefulness, and the results I created, I would have gotten there without all the busyness extras. But my mind told me that I had to keep showing up all the time and take every single opportunity to get ahead. When my friends and colleagues told me how busy they were, I think we all collectively decided that this was the norm. I just accepted that this is what work meant. So many of us would then meet for drinks after work, and what would we talk about? The day and how busy we were. And so many of us believed that busyness and stress were mandatory, and it was all just part of the career, all just part of getting ahead. You believe your stress is caused by the amount of things you have to do versus a thought that you are having. Stress about your busyness is a state of mind. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't come from what's on your calendar. For years, I prided myself on the belief that I accomplished more by 9 a.m. than most people would accomplish in an entire day. Some days I would start off with a conference call as early as 6 a.m., then exercise, shower, and be ready for my second call by 8:30. My days would be long. And then add on a West Coast client and teammates, my day could stretch to 10 p.m. So an 18-hour day was so common. And to be clear, that was what I created. I was overpacking my days. This was not what was being demanded of me. And while, look, I was well compensated, it wasn't like there were cash and prizes at the end of the rainbow. So what was I doing? I was drowning in the busy Olympics, like I was winning some sort of imaginary competition. I used to equate busyness with being important, that I was needed. I was trading my labor for love or appreciation, for compliments and validation. But looking for external validation to feel good about yourself will never work. And it's ridiculously exhausting because there's never enough approval. You keep chasing the situation in order to feel good. And then you need the next one and the next one and the next approval. And when the approval starts to wane, you suddenly become this like heat-seeking missile searching for your next hit or your next compliment. We are deriving our value and worthiness from being busy. And it's like waiting for some worthiness trophy. Oof. For others, being busy is synonymous with being of service, being generous with your time, being resourceful, and at times, it's really pure people-pleasing. And we think that we have to keep doing it because we believe that doing this extra work for other people makes us a good person, or because we want the other party to like us. So people-pleasing comes in because I'm doing it for you, but not for me. I don't really want to do it, but I'm doing it to control what you think of me or to shape your opinion of me. That's the level of people-pleasing that goes on so often when people think that being busy is a way of being of service. And looking back, it's so interesting now that if I knew how to leverage and amplify my strengths, if I had known how to help create a strengths-based culture, more people, including myself, would have been able to shift from busy to productive. I would have known how to work within time management, my strengths, my skills, my own energy levels, how to structure my day so that I solely focused on productivity. I realized that if you are an employee, there are often tasks that we have to do that burn us out or deplete our energy. I'll also tell you as an entrepreneur, there are plenty of tasks that can burn me out and deplete my energy. But working on those tasks at times when our brain is at its freshest enables us to move into higher levels of productivity and not be swirling in busyness. Busyness is often in your mind. It is just a thought. It's your mindset. You may even want to look busy to others because busy makes you feel better and makes you feel needed and valued. Busy means that the day owns you. There's a ton of mental clutter, and it means that there's little time for space to think. When I tell you today, running my own business, that I carve out chunks of time to think, to sit, and to sit with a problem or a challenge and to develop a solution. Genius doesn't come from busyness. And that's why clients and myself always have our best thoughts in the car, in the shower, after meditation, after we are relaxed. Your mind can only focus on one thing at a time. Your body can only do one thing at a time, even if you're multitasking. And according to Psychology Today, research in neuroscience tells us that the brain doesn't really do tasks simultaneously as we thought and hoped it might. All we are doing is switching tasks quickly. It's kind of like musical chairs. This switching and busyness is really hard on your productivity because instead of saving time, it costs you time, even if it's just nanoseconds. Multitasking depletes your energy, you're distracted, you're less creative, and you're probably going to make mistakes. Busyness means frantic work, overwhelm, working harder, a desire to be good at everything. Perfectionism and multitasking take over. If you want to go deeper on perfectionism, I suggest you check out episode 13 of this podcast, where I do a deep dive on perfectionism and your career. Productive means results, impact, growth. It's getting it done. It's focused. We work smarter, we amplify our strengths, and we get clear in what skills give us energy and what burns us out. There are moments when life is busy. There are times in which we all swirl in busyness, and I totally understand that. But this is about breaking the cycle of you being busy because you think you will be more valued, or you'll feel needed, or you'll be important. So what do you do about being busy? And how do you get into being productive? Well, first, you have to get better at asking questions. Is this the best use of my time? Does this play to my strengths? Will this task deplete me? Or is there somebody else on the team? Is there another colleague who is better suited for this particular endeavor? And then I say we need to provide solutions and not just solve problems. There's an expression about eating the frog first, and that's really about doing the tough task when you are freshest. Schedule space in your day for think and rest, just like you would any other appointment. Block off time on your calendar so that you have a moment to think. And I don't mean thinking while you're sitting at your computer. I mean, again, structurally, if you have to do that, fine. I mean, is there time where you can take lunch, grab a coffee, step away, and be in thought work so that you can really be in the solution? The next thing I want you to do is I want you to think about how you want to feel. And then I'm going to ask you, what thoughts do you think will create that feeling inside of you? So if you want to go from busyness and overwhelm to productive, focused, determined, accomplished, almost like a warrior energy that you can get this done and you've got it and you want to feel that, what are the thoughts that's going to create that feeling for you? Step one is learning that your thoughts are creating your feelings. And this is the first step to freedom. This is the first step to learning how to manage your mind. Because when you realize that your thoughts are creating your feelings, you get to choose a different thought and you get to choose a different feeling. And then step two is practicing those thoughts so that you generate the feeling that you want. Again, if I want to feel accomplished or inspired or focused or calm, I think to myself, what thoughts will create that feeling? So if you want to feel worthy and valued, ask yourself, what do you need to be thinking in order to create those feelings? And then I want you to practice these thoughts every day. And lastly, I want you to give some time, do some thought work, really dig in, grab a notebook, grab a pen. Busyness is a buffer. You stop feeling and thinking when you're in busyness. Are you attached to being busy? What is it that you are afraid of feeling? What does busyness do for you? And are you waiting for others to validate you and give you self-worth? These are some of the questions I would encourage you to think about. Okay, my friends, thanks for joining me this week. I'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for listening to the Career Refresh podcast. If you're enjoying this and you want more information, go to my website, jillgriffincoaching.com. There you can find information on how to work with me one-on-one or my group programs, or even bring me into your workplace. I'll put the link to my website in the show notes. But hey, listen, before you go, do me a favor, rate and review this podcast because it definitely helps me get the word out to people everywhere so that they can also thrive in the workplace. All right, friends, I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.